Hello and welcome everyone to our LinkedIn live session, How AI is Reshaping Pharma Manufacturing, hosted by Pronix Inc. As pharmaceutical manufacturing evolves, organizations face increasing regulatory demands, supply chain complexity, and pressure to accelerate time to market. Of course, during next hour, we're going to explore how AI is transforming pharma value chain from research and development and production to quality assurance and supply chain optimization, showing how predictive analytics, intelligent automation, AI-driven quality system, and real-time monitoring help reduce downtime, improve compliance, increase yield, and enable smarter decisions as pharma leaders build smarter, more resilient manufacturing operations. I ask all audience to please type where you're watching us from, and we're all happy to see you here with us. And also, please let us know what do you expect to learn from today's session, what you're the most interested to learn. My name is Nick. I will be the host for the session here on behalf of Pronix. At Pronix Inc., we help pharmaceutical organizations accelerate digital transformation through AI-powered solutions designed for manufacturing, quality, compliance, and supply chain excellence. Our expertise spans AI strategy, intelligent automation, predictive analytics, and enterprise system integration, enabling pharma manufacturing to modernize operations while maintaining regulatory rigor and operational scalability. By combining AI innovation with deep industry understanding, we empower organizations to improve operational efficiency, enhance product quality, and create future-ready manufacturing ecosystem that drive measurable business outcome and faster innovation cycles for 2026 and beyond. And so are today's experts for today's panel discussions. First, I want to welcome Rachel Legman, who has a very interesting background in the pharmaceuticals industry. Rachel, can you please give us a couple of words about your background?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel Legman, Senior Director of Technology at Repligen, focusing mainly on gene and cell therapy bioprocessing. What I do mainly focus on helping our drug develop customer bring AI into their manufacturing in practical and useful way. A lot of that means making sure they have the right real-time data and process analytics, so AI can actually do its job, helping team cut variability, speed up decision, knowledgeable decision, make their processes more reliable, and overall drive the costs down. I'm excited to talk about how we support developers on the journey and how AI can feel less like a buzzword and more like something that truly helps in day-to-day of bioprocessing.
Thanks, Rachel. Yeah, we're excited to hear about your experience in the area of using AI. We also here on today's session have David Wagner. David, can you please also give us a couple of words about your background?
Sure. So thank you very much for inviting us, and for everyone joining us on the live stream. Thank you for attending. Really exciting times with the AI. My background has been on the working end of AI, implementing and managing AI in the manufacturing lines. Currently, I'm based out of Florida, and I'm providing fractional CIO roles in these environments, helping these leadership teams pick the correct AIs and how to get them implemented, and then start seeing the returns on those. So again, my focus is more on the working end of AI in the plants.
Thanks, David. And we have one more AI expert here, Pankaj. Just a couple of words for people watching us.
Thanks for hosting me, Nick, and thanks everyone who's tending to listen into this. So my name is Pankaj. I'm based out of Toronto. I've been in the IT transformation for over 20 years, with the last 8 years totally working on automations, and the last 2 years mostly on AI-based chatbot solutions and iOS and Android apps. I currently lead a team of developers and product managers at a clinical research organization, and part of my role is identifying new use cases where we can implementing AI, and then also looking at the ROI and the product adoption of it. I'm really excited to be on this panel. I look forward to hearing other speakers talk and maybe get some questions as well. Thank you, Nik.
Sure. Thanks, Pankaj. Wonderful. So let's kick our today's discussion with the obvious question. So AI have been there for quite a while, and it have been reshaping pharmaceutical manufacturing. So how is it reshaping? How is it doing that? So who can start? David, maybe you can start with this one.
Sure. From my perspective, some of how AI is currently reshaping pharmaceutical is it is really getting traction. So all of the small developers all the way up to the large developers who have put in now years of effort into trying to find the best ways to deploy it, which one of the big challenges in deployment of AI is governance of the data. In order for AI to be the most useful that it can be, it has to have access to as much or all of the data as possible. And in doing so, you create the opportunity for information to be disseminated in directions that maybe it wasn't intended. So I think they're now with, for example, Microsoft with their RBAC utilization in their Copilot platform. You'll notice if you're looking in Copilot, you're seeing, are you logging in as a business or an enterprise, or are you logging in as a different sort of user? And they are really modernizing and perfecting those governance tools to allow the organizations to really benefit from reading all the data that it needs to consume in order to be of most benefit without risking that data through the governance or the segmentation of duties models.
Yeah, we're talking about both convenience and privacy, because there's a lot of sensitive data there.
Well, I think
Rachel,
in the pharmaceutical world, there's a lot of need to protect that data. Yeah. And so there's a lot of assurance that the C-suite and other operators want to know about, hey, where is this data really going? Because I think the future of AI is how do we connect data points across multiple private organizations in a way that can benefit all without risking the IP of the individual organizations. Because on one side, the organizations are saying, I don't know if I want my data out there. But on the other side, they're going, I would love to see other people's data. So there's this conflict that's going to be resolved over time. Technically, it's not going to be resolved legally or any other way. There has to be a technical solution for that in order for everybody to really do better with all of those data points.
Yeah, to protect it in the most literal way. Yeah. So Rachel, can you please give us also comments on the question?
Yeah, so the final note from David is a good segue to move into the bioprocessing side where I situated. So basically, it is not just based on high tech. Now it's moving to biotech and biopharma. And this is really exciting because the AI is transforming the pharma by improving production efficiency, enabling real-time quality monitoring by all the analytics that are developed, optimizing supply chain and accelerating decision-making across research and development and manufacturing operation. AI, in my opinion, is reshaping pharmaceutical manufacturing by moving us from reactive trial and error processes, as I used to do for many years, based on my experience, to predictive, data-driven, and increasingly automated bioprocessing. And this is the power of the AI. At Repligen, which I'm representing here, our strategy is really centered on making AI practical for drug developer. So it has to be simplified, it has to be ready to use in order to connect all the dots that David was alluding into. So all this backed into the equipment, the analytics, and the workflows that already rely on. I can give an example that our area where this becomes very real is embedding AI into bioprocessing systems. And lately we had a new partnership with Novozymes, which is a great example where we are integrating machine learning and digital twin directly into, for example, our TFF, tangential flow filtration system, as a starting point. So developer can simulate, predict process outcome before they run a batch. So that's reduced significantly the actual experimental run if the model is correctly and if the data is correct.
Right. And I can say, Rachel, I'll add as well that what AI really does for the component that you're saying in the real world, in the manufacturing side, is that you used to have to have a digital twin feed it all of the variables. And with AI can now go discover the variables. So for many people, they could not achieve digital twinning just for the amount of time that it took to create it. But now most people can achieve digital twinning because AI answers those questions on the data assumptions. Do you agree?
I do agree, and that's rely on the better sensor, better analytical tool in process, because you have to have a strong data that you rely. Otherwise, your model is not going to be as good. But yeah, that's this development, at least from Repligen side, we are really focusing on enhancing the capability of each system that will talk to each other along the whole workflow. Absolutely agree with you. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for your answers. I want to segue into the next question while we're talking on how AI is reshaping the industry. And you already mentioned the topic of research. So how AI is what impact AI is doing with accelerating drug research, discovery, and development of processes. And Pankaj, maybe like you can give your perspective on what AI does in general. We can segue into the research part.
Yeah, so I'll go to something which is very close to me, which is clinical research. Clinical research for any drug that you're looking at takes years, and it takes years because it takes a lot of documentation. You're going from one center to the other, you're meeting with a lot of people, you're documenting it, and you're seeing that test result, how it works on different people. On the other side, when you're looking at AI-based tools, now you are looking at, again, replicating the non-humans from the humans. So if they know how old am I, what part of the world I come in, what kind of diseases I may have. So when we take that same data, we throw it into the AI pool and we run that data algorithms, there is much faster time to market, and much faster time to market with, again, keeping the data safe. That's what I'll go back to, and I think this will come again and again. The PII and the PHI and HEPA and GDPR and all that will work with it, but the discovery process becomes much faster, become much reliable, because now it is not that the data is coming from there are times when we get data from sources we may not totally believe in. We'll say, yeah, we'll do the 80-20 rule. We think that 80% is correct, 20% is just inflated. But with AI, I would have a lot more control. And that's how AI is really helping the market. It will help. I would say in the next 12 months, you'll see a big change to all of these medicines that we're seeing, the weight loss and all that. A lot of us look towards that. But that is going to be a quick thing. There is a movie that came out about that as well, that someone, and I won't name the country, that was a very large manufacturing company which went to this country, asked for the data, and they were just inflating the data. Same people who are being tested 20 times for different drugs, and data was wrong. With AI, you will not have that problem. You will not be at risk. You will be going to the market much faster, getting your FDA approvals and all of those things on time. I think that's where I leave.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you. So yeah, Rachel, maybe you can add something to, because I know research is your topic.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So in principle, since I am focusing mainly on cell and gene therapy, and we all know how complex the product is in this field, I think AI will be more impactful. It will accelerate the development when it is embedded in the tools that teams already run every day. So it's not we are starting from nothing. We are starting from the current system that people are working with. So all the media signal that you're getting from the bioreactor, from the purification step, from the harvest data, everything, all the analytical that you are embedded into your process is connected into the digital thread from lab to GMP. So as it was mentioned, that it will accelerate the part of moving from development faster into the clinical. And this is very important, especially in any modality and any drug, but especially in the complex cell and gene therapy side. So we understand that at Repligen. So we are acting upon, the vision is to focus on AI-powered digital twin, starting with the TFF that I mentioned. And this is relate to what David mentioned at his end point, that digital twin needs the AI in order to empower it. So this is absolutely correct. And AI-ready process analytical tool for real-time signal upstream and downstream. This is also a very important point for moving from development to clinical, and connectivity and compliance that lets model and control system actually act on those signals. So that's not just monitoring, it's feedback control in order to make the process and predict processes better. So design for manufacturability early with AI-powered digital twin is a must. And we are doing it. We are starting with TFF, but we are working on the bioreactor, especially when we acquired analytical tools like the Rebel, the Maven, the Maverick. So what is important to know that as we used to have see and act on, biology is real time with process analytical and the AI. So this is really very critical in terms of predicting the cell expression, the production on the upstream, the product impurity at near or at online, depends with the progress of the analytic exist in the market. During the purification, we have the process analytical tool that are more on the downstream side, UV, visible base, in order to move this process workflow to more continuous process. And the ultimate goal is to reduce the cost and reduce the time moving from development into the GMP or clinical trial. So I'll just give a very small example if there are some audience that are really into the bioprocessing side or want to help the bioprocessing side, where AI specifically help the cell and gene therapy teams. For example, in transduction, editing, expansion, you, for example, can use Rebel. It's a system to confirm nutrient very rapid analysis for making it more sufficient. Maven, for example, monitor your glucose and lactate. So it's not just taking sample once or twice a day. It's basically you see the whole movie, what's happening the whole day. You can troubleshooting and try to improve it on time without failing. So Repligen vision is to establish bioprocesses with faster timeline, lower variability, and lower cost per dose. And in my opinion, and many other, I think my colleague agree, is that that it will be done with integrating of the AI or with the help of the AI. So we have to keep open mind in many different application and field.
Thank you, Rachel. David, maybe you have also something to add to the question?
Well, I mean, when we're talking about which AI use cases are, the right for the research development process, I think there's a lot, back to what Prakash said, there's a lot of paperwork or processing involved in R&D. And we've deployed a number of models and agents that those sources of those data points and those paperworks and those electronic documents are coming from multiple different departments in multiple different ways. And there's always workflow challenges. There's always order of importance challenges. There are daily management challenges of daily needs. And we've seen these models in AI do a much better job of guiding people in terms of where their focus should be, because the AI models can monitor all of the steps that all of the programs are going through. And they can advise you into, hey, these are ones that you will get the most benefit out of working on today, because there's time frames that are involved and there's other folks involved in the workflow. There used to be a lot more manual project management involved in this sort of development, and AI is solving a lot of those project management gates by removing them, by connecting a number of dots, and it's highly accurate when it comes to that. But I've seen a change in the workforce of people in R&D as it relates to this project management by allowing the AI tools the freedom to help guide them in what it is that they're doing. They're simply more effective and they're more efficient. So that's been a real world scenario I've seen in multiples.
Right. So we will talk about cases in a moment. I just want to remind our audience that we will have a Q&A session at the very end of today's panel discussion. I already see some questions in the chat. So yeah, we'll get to them at the end of today's session. Right. So yeah, let's continue with the next question, which is use cases. So let's talk about what AI use cases are creating the biggest impact in pharma manufacturing. And yeah, Rachel, can you take this one?
Yeah, thank you. This is my field actually, so I'm happy to talk about few case study. So when we talk about AI real impact in pharma manufacturing today, I pop up into my mind 3 use cases that rising above the rest that I'm familiar with, but I'm happy to hear others if they have other case study. So in the same area where Repligen has been investing heavily because they drive the fastest improvement in speed, consistency, and cost across biologics, gene therapy, and next generation modality. So one important point that we mentioned before, it's predictive process control with digital twins. So that's one of the highest impact application of AI right now, in my opinion, is the shift from reactive process control to predictive model-driven control using the digital twins. As much as possible, of course, we know the constraint and the limitation. So digital twins are basically AI-enabled virtual replicate of bioprocess operation. So in our case, operation like tangential flow filtration that I'm keep on mentioning because this is our first target to conquer. So they combine real sensor data with machine learning models to simulate how a process will behave under different conditions before you even run the system. So this is very powerful, in my opinion, and can reduce significantly the cost. This is central to our Repligen Novasign partnership, where Novasign machine learning workflow are being embedded directly into TFF currently and related system to enable AI-driven optimization and predictive control. I keep on saying predictive because I think this is very critical if you want to predict large scale, if you want to predict if the process will be successful from the starting point. So you're not going to have failing due to inconsistency of the process. So that will shorten development time. You will have better scalability. Most of the market now, especially in cell and gene therapy, are really challenged by this element of scaling up, scaling out, whatever you want to call it. Lower cost and lower risk, of course, and a higher reliability. The second point that I want to mention as a case study is AI-enabled process analytical technology, what people call PAT, for real-time quality monitoring. So AI's second major impact, in my opinion, is transforming the process analytical tool from passive data collecting layer into an active, intelligent quality assurance system, almost like we are doing that, but the system doing it faster and better. So this will bring us to developing continuous sensor monitoring, spectral data, things like metabolite trends, protein concentration, media composition, Raman signal, all kind of flags that will be raising for deviation will be done automatically. It can also support a trigger closed loop control action. So the third point that I want to allude into is machine learning for process optimization across unit operation. And it was mentioned before. So it is very important that, that applying AI broadly across cultivation, harvest, filtration, chrome, formulation, and not just isolated steps. You cannot just think about one step and that's it. It is all integrated solution and the AI is looking at it like that. So the biggest industry impact of this AI application that I mentioned is faster process development, higher throughput efficiency, lower risk, better quality, and AI shifts quality assurance to the real-time layer. So this is catching abnormality before the impact, the critical quality attributes that we all concerned about, or batch variability that can kill the batch. And that's a lot of money and a lot of time, of course, and a lot of effort from the operator. So it gives you better decision-making across the value chain. So I would say, just to sum up everything, it's very difficult to talk so concisely about that. It's that, in my opinion, in pharma manufacturing, AI is no longer experimental. It is operational. So it is here, and we just have to make it happen faster and broader. And the most impactful use cases are those that augment the equipment, sensor, and workflow manufacturer already rely on it. So that's my my summary on this, or opinion on this one.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. I'm sure like it definitely is hard to try to fit it into a question during a panel discussions, but I'm sure if someone from the audience would be interested to discuss these cases more, they can reach out to you and have a more deep, specific conversation.
Thank you, Nik. Absolutely.
Yeah, while we're going to continue with the next question. So we did mention compliance and security and being sure that the data is safe. And so how does AI help improve quality and regulatory compliance in pharma industry? So Pankaj, can you answer this one?
Yeah, I'll take that. So this is something which is very close to me. I don't come from the pharma industry, come from banking and financial services and insurance. Compliance, regulatory compliance, I'm very good at it. I've been doing it for the last 20 years. I did not know the amount of compliance and documentation you need till I came to pharma industry or came to clinical research. There are tons of documents that need to be written in a certain way. They need to be signed off in a certain process. They need to be documented, and all that data that needed to be added in there. It is okay for humans to do that much faster with AI. When you're working on with AI tools, it will catch that discrepancies for you. It will highlight it for you, so you don't end up releasing a product in the market and 4 years from now get in front of an auditor. Which, thank God, I have not been there yet, but I know I've been warned again and again. Be very careful, so you don't end up with that. AI is going to really help you with that. With the PHI data, you can control Pankaj. You can tell him, hey, this is a data you should not be looking at, but if I have an access to it, human nature, I will definitely go and click on that. With an AI tool, you can control that as well. You don't have that rollback access. RBAC, you just go with that. It's a PII data, a person identifiable information. You should not be looking at it, and you just stop it over here. Looking at more towards stepping away from my core skills that I do, and this is more on the manufacturing, and I've been following up that as part of the pharma as well, that it catches issues earlier. So it's not going to be that Pankaj, the plant manager, is going to come at 10 in the morning and then he's going to say, oh, you know what, the batch ran foul because the temperature shifted midnight. I'm not going to set up the manufacturing plant and say, yeah, when we catch, like maybe 10% of it will fail. I would already know the data because all of that AI data that has been collected from millions of runs of the same kind of manufacturing will be available to me on my fingertips. So I'll exactly know, and AI will tell me this is when you should expect it to fail. I control that as well. And any of the investigation that comes from the AI tool or the documentation, which I started earlier, and I said it's very close and very part of the audit, that needs to be done as well. So all that SOP, deviation reports, all of it, how do you document? Where do you document? And what are the learnings for my team? AI will tell me this is where you can go wrong. And that's what I think is a good quality and compliance part of the AI that I rely on personally and within my organization as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Maybe just a couple of words on the topic before we move on.
Yeah, sure. So interesting question, improving quality and regulatory compliance. I think one shift I've seen with the advent of AI in the workplace for regulatory is it's changing the environment where the test method used to be two ways. Either you're getting an audit or you're simulating an audit. AI goes farther. So AI can look not only at what are the results of our documentation and how are we going to look when we are audited, but it can monitor real time what's occurring throughout the entire organization. Back to what Pankaj was saying is that you can start to pick up items before they become an issue. Now, there used to be products called DLP, data loss prevention products, that were, there were a lot of pre-programming, what to look for and then what to look at. AI takes all of that need to pre-program away, and you can simply point an AI model at your infrastructure and say, I'd like to test our FDA regulatory compliance. And AI has the ability to digest the regulatory parameters of FDA in any one central region or further, and then apply those to your data workflows and data locations and points and give you advice. Now, I don't think it's where you want to rely on it yet to say, AI says we're compliant, so we're compliant, because there is still interpretation of regulatory, and sometimes people interpret it one way and sometimes it's interpreted another, and AI is going to interpret it very generally. But in terms of the regulatory compliance, I've seen a dramatic shift from exercises to see whether or not you're compliant to real-time, full-time AI engagement, ensuring that you're compliant day over day. And the biggest change is in the staff, because the staff know that the AI engine is paying attention and it helps feed them what they need to do and how they need to do it. And they just simply become better at remaining compliant throughout their workflows and throughout their day, because the AI engine is just so much more effective than the older DLP engines were.
Yeah, I'll add a little bit more to what the same thought that you're saying. You can teach humans. They will learn 5-year, 10-year, 20-year with the experience. But when you plug in AI next to them and give control to David or Pankaj or Rachel and let them take the final decision till we feel comfortable enough that this is doing the job for me. But you cannot teach Pankaj in 2 years. You cannot make me that expert in like someone like you who comes from the pharma industry. I'll always look up to you, but there has to be that little bridge where you say, yeah, David, I'll do all of that work and then I'll come to you. And that is that AI which is going to take me to that place very fast and very compliant. But again, I think one thing that we did not discuss is the human in the loop is at least is going to be here for a while, and we definitely would want to use it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, David and Pankaj, for the answers. Let us move to the next question, a very important one from what I know. What role does AI play in reducing manufacturing downtime? Rachel, this one is for you.
Okay, so I'm going to basically emphasize what Pankaj and David says before, which is really very applicable for the bioprocessing and the biomanufacturing of drug as well. So in my opinion, the biggest operational impact today is its ability to shift pharma manufacturing from reactive, and I'm not stopping saying, to predictive and self-optimize operation. So it is continuously improving, like we are doing that as human. The system is helping us to do the process in the same manner. So in biology or cell therapy, and especially in the complex cell and gene therapy, even a few hours of downtime can translate into a massive financial loss. And this is very critical because investors do not want to put the money, and there is a lot of pain moving, and we always have to remember the patient needs to get the drugs eventually, and we have to help the market to do that as fast as possible. So if you in cell gene therapy, you miss the treatment window, that's it, you lost. It's not just a matter of time and money, it's somebody else is winning. AI is now essential to keeping processes running smoothly and preventing cost interruption. So role number one that the AI play is predictive maintenance, fixing problem before the stop production. So this is changing the set mind. So instead of something broke, stop the batch, that's what you usually see in the manufacturing currently, the AI will deliver this pump will likely fail in 10 days. Let's schedule maintenance now before we fail. And this is only one simple example. So the downtime reduction in planned maintenance replace emergency shutdown, fewer catastrophic failure, better spare part planning, minimize disruption to equipment, and intensive steps like TFF and Chrome. That's very, very critical to the second role that I can see that the AI is playing here is early detection of process drift, preventing mid-batch failure. So not only at the beginning, not at the end, but in the middle. Not all downtime is mechanical. We all know that. Many interruption comes from bioprocess drift, like you have a filter fouling because of, I don't know, something is not right with the material you're running through it. Culture crashes, colon overload. That's what happened all the time. It's no, I'm not talking about something theoretically, or off-spec buffer composition. It's happening. So continuous monitoring live data to detect that, all this abnormal pressure rise, membrane fouling signature, deviation in metabolite consumption, yield drop pattern. We are doing that, but we don't have the capacity to do that it all and fast and rapid. So the downtime reduction will be affecting fewer aborted batches, fewer unplanned investigation. This cost a lot of money going to investigate, basically with the regulatory, avoid full restart by enabling real-time correction action. The third role, if I may, I can say that faster root cause identification is critical, and AI can play a good role in here. Cutting investigation time, and I cannot mention it more than once. Also intelligent inventory, supply planning. It's not really my expertise, but I'm feeling the pain when I don't have the supply because we didn't have an intelligent inventory, and customer come to us, oh, we need it now, but we need 12 weeks to create that. So we have to learn with the help of AI how to avoid material-driven stops. This is happening quite often. Also, another role, and it's just positive stuff for the AI, stabilizing continuous manufacturing. We all know that continuous manufacturing will reduce the cost. So we need to stabilize that. We will need to enable it. So preventing small disturbances from becoming shutdowns, for example, or reducing human error. I know that Pankaj is talking about documentation and digitalization. It's in most of the manufacturing. It doesn't exist. Most people are doing everything manual, and there is a lot of human interaction here that can cause. So this is matter for every modality, but specifically for cell and gene therapy. This is very critical. So overall, I would sum up: AI reduce downtime by transforming operation from reactive to predictive to preventive and self-optimizing. So that's my say on here.
Thanks, Rachel. You did mention just now supply chain, which leads into the next question of ours, which is how does AI strengthen pharmaceutical supply chains? David, that's one is probably for you.
Sure. So Rachel touched on it a little bit there, and I'll expand on a couple of those points for the supply chain. And your ERP systems are pivotal in processing all of your inventory, both on supply chain ordering all the way through to consumption. And AI is not only allowing us to have better information faster about which vendors are performing how, because there's a common practice that you do vendor scorecards either 6 months or every year, where you learn who's delivering on time in full, OTIF, and who is delivering on time not full, who's behind. And it used to be quite an endeavor to go through and try to figure out the whys of those things. But with AI is able to not only watch your consumption, your receipt, everything that's happening inside of your walls, but it can watch the transportation chains. It can watch the weather. It can see the supply challenges that are coming from the sources of the supply, whether it be India or whether it be China or any other location that is growing the material that you're buying or processing the material that you're buying. So the really, I know that it's kind of a 90s term to talk about competitive edge, but you do have a competitive edge when you successfully integrate AI into your supply chain management that allows you to make quicker decisions better. Now, what I mean by Rachel touched on this, she touched on when you have a supply chain gap that comes up at the end of the process prior or during manufacturing that will impact a line negatively. If you can have that information much earlier, and you can see much earlier that this is impending or on its way, you can find an alternate supplier, because sometimes you're sourcing a material from a land far away because it is in quantity, it is good quality, and its cost is what you're looking for. But there might be something even more local where the cost, for example, isn't what you're looking for. But when you're coming close to that manufacturing deadline, and now you have a decision to make of, okay, what are our options? AI is so good at helping you in that supply chain. So not only are you using it to predict problems that might occur, and you're using it to handle problems as they occur, but you're also using it to read the data after all of your production runs have occurred to analyze how are your vendors and your materials performing. Rachel also touched on the quality of the material or the different stops that can occur in a manufacturing process. You might have a powder blend that is just more fluffy than it was in your bench trials or in your pilot runs, and now you're putting it through your larger production lines, and the fluffiness is causing a problem. Back to those digital twins and those analyzing, we've seen a lot of extreme benefit in post-production run analysis by AI, which can do much more than the human can do in just looking at the ERP system, and it can tell you where the material came from, the lot number, whether that lot number was used anywhere else before, whether or not you have more of that lot number. It can analyze the specific gravities and the different components of the item master that's in your ERP that speaks to that, and it can start to offer you solutions about why you think you got the results on the production run that you did, because almost every production run is going to have subsequent production runs, and you have problems that you need to solve there, and these are complicated problems. Usually it takes industry experts with years of experience who just are able to say, yes, I've dealt with that problem before. Here's my notes. Here's the record from that one. Here's what I recall. And you can get into that. But if you don't have that resource available or that information is scattered, AI is connecting all of those dots. So we've seen not only on the front end of the supply chain, but at the end of the production run, the analysis of it, the benefits of then picking. I don't know if you know, it's hard sometimes to up a new supplier. There's a lot of testing and regulatory processes you have to go through to even approve another supplier. And then you have customer engagement or consumer engagement about whether or not that supplier meets their needs. And now you have a lot of efficacy in supply chain nowadays that has to do with what is the country about that's growing the material, what is the processing company about or manufacturer about. So to tie all this together without AI is a very heavy lift, but AI has smoothed so much of that. So you're getting better quality suppliers, better analysis of how the material runs, quicker engagements across the board, and visibility into problems that are coming down the line before you have it impact that manufacturing line.
Thanks, David. And want to ask you further questions. So you gave us good overview on the business, on the results for supply chain, and we've been discussing many other positive impacts, that examples of impact with AI. But if we want to talk about measurable business outcomes for pharma organizations, which one we can talk about here?
I'm free to if
David, go ahead. Yeah,
I would pick out two that I would say, because one is on the consumer end and then one is on the business end. Because again, pharma exists at the end of the day because of the consumption and effectiveness of their product. AI is improving that quality. It is improving the time frame of getting that material more fresh out there. So you may not need as long, for example, of an expiration date because your turn rate has improved. So you're able to now get this to market in a more predictable and faster way by managing the supply chain, by managing the regulatory, by getting better results in the trials, and being able to accelerate almost every aspect, improve and accelerate the entire process from beginning to end. So your consumer is literally getting a better product that has more engineering and more regulatory compliance, more predictability behind it. It's just simply a win for the consumer. And on the business side, I think if memory serves, the estimate for the monetary profitability impact to only the pharma industry for 2025 is at like $380 billion of the AI that they've already deployed. Because I think we all know if you can get to market faster, back to Rachel's point, that there is going to be a winner in some of those environments. Some of them, multiple people can win, but some of them, there's going to be a winner. And whoever gets there first and gets there with the quality, and it's really detrimental if you get there without the quality or you get there with some other problem. That measurement of that is enormous. So I think from the business side, the data is already in that it pays enormous dividends to effectively deploy AI in everywhere that you can within the organization. It's going to come back with a return on that investment, and it's going to come back with a higher quality product for the consumer.
Thanks,
David.
David,
faster to market and safer to market. So
yes,
and that's what you were saying, and just repeating that in simple words. Throwing a product in the market just doesn't take it. Like you can go and then maybe get hit with $1 billion lawsuit, but with AI you are managing both sides of the story.
Yeah, better. You're getting better with it. You're getting a better result.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks. So we don't have that much time from a session left. Just a quick question. I know this could be another topic, long topic of the conversation, but Pankaj, can you maybe list the main challenges that pharma leaders would face when scaling, when implementing AI, so they should be ready for?
We are all excited about AI, so are our leaders. The problem is not the technology, it is a foundation around it. What is foundation? Your data. You don't have good data, you don't have access to good data, you don't have access to any data. That is what is going to stop you. And when leaders look at it, they say that, okay, we want to implement it, and someone will come and sell that solution to them. And when we start looking at it, it's either sitting in this legacy system, it is siloed somewhere, it is in a format that is not consumable by AI. So I may have 3 different tools that look at the same data, and I've said, I'm going to consume all of them and give you the best predictive analysis of it, or any data. But it could be in the first system, it's my first name, in the second, it's my last name, which is first, or it could be a zip code, postal code, any of these things. And I'm giving a very, very generic examples here. The other thing that leaders are also looking at is the regulatory trust. We are in pharma. We are not doing it on our own. It's not like building a product and just throwing it to the market. You need to go to FDA or any other similar organization across the world. People are not ready to take that scaling. Regulators are saying that, no, we need human eyes on it. And that's where I was coming to, the human in the loop that is still there. So we may have good ideas, we may have good data, but if the regulators are not letting us adopt it, we will have to sit on sidelines for a little bit. The other bigger thing is organizational change. At the end of the day, I am going to the human and saying, can you teach me how this is done? AI is not going to know everything. We've been taught in the last 1 to 2 years, you go to Copilot, ChatGPT, and it knows everything about everything in the world. No, it doesn't. It knows a lot of it. But like David was saying, that you may not know the right answers. So it is not very fine-tuned. Where do I go for that? I go to the people who work in that organization. I need to get data from them to build my AI tools, to implement back for them. And that organizational change is very hard. People are still resisting. The C-level may ask them to go ahead and share that information. It's not coming in. You don't have the data. You don't have the regulatory trust. You don't have the organizational change. You're going to sit on sideline for many years, or at least for months, the way that we are going. So these are the real challenges I would say that C-level feels, or organization as whole. Like, I won't even say C-level, even a senior manager would face the same kind of issues.
Thanks, Pankaj, for covering this one. And now is a good moment to take a couple of questions from the chat. I see that there is quite a discussion going in the comments. So let's go with this one. So the question is, how would you approach the awareness to use AI when you are attempting to get wider business adoption? Because we are finding that there is AI hallucination and errors that is a hurdle, at least in the eyes of who we're talking about here. Who can take this one?
I'll take that question.
I'm
Go ahead, David. I'll speak after.
Yeah. So I'm on the implementation side as well in the company. So I've faced that real time. The most effective tool that we deployed first, that got the most attention from the folks and gained the most confidence, was we wrote a batch record AI agent reviewer. And we were very careful to not tell people, this is going to review every batch record perfectly. But we said, it is going to review the batch records before they go to the floor. And it's going to review the batch records when they come off the floor. And it's going to give you a head start. In reviewing the batch records that go to the floor, they're being released to the floor because they're ready. And this is going to recheck every calculation. It's going to recheck the quantity of pages, compare it to our SOP, compare it to the regulation, and it's going to tell you whether or not it agrees that it's compliant. And it found errors. And with batch records that come off the floor, back to Rachel's point that some things are still manual, maybe weights are being written down, times are being written down, quantities are being written down, and it will highlight, for example, this page is missing 2 signatures. This page calculations don't add up to the issuance versus the return. So I think the most effective I've seen is that batch record review, but you would want to find something in your arena that holds people's interest, that is something that is in question, I guess is a good way to say it. If there's a part of your organization that people always know is fragile, then, and again, setting the expectation that it's not about this is going to fix that and be perfect, it's that this is going to aid it and it's going to give us a head start. We've seen great success with that model.
Yeah, David, I'll add to the same point over here. So you're looking at quick wins, then scale. You're looking at people, talking to them and build that trust. You're not saying that I'm going to bypass you and I'm going straight to it and this will do the job. People are not going to work with you. They're not going to adopt that. They're not going to look at the data. So when we build that and we integrate that into their daily workflows, that's where they start to look at it. But I've been doing RPA for many years. Like I started in 2015, 16 when RPA was a very new word. And one thing that I kept here, well, this is going to take my job and I don't even trust it. And I always said that, hey, when I was a kid, I saw Excel first time. I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. But it never took anyone's job. It just made easy. AI, you are using it the same way. You are enhancing your own skills. You are building that trust. But till we go back and invest in the change management of AI and the adoption of it, this will not scale. This will get stalled somewhere. Companies will say, we bought it. No, we don't want to go forward with it. People are not using it. People don't believe it. C-level pushes it down, but it has to come from everyone in the organization. Everyone has to have the stake in it to be using it.
Yeah, I would add one note to this one, because from the manufacturing side and from the vendor developing of new equipment with AI, generate as many data as possible with measurable business gains. Once you prove, even if you take one step, I know we're talking about the holistic integrated solution, but you take one step, as we do with one step of the process, you show percentage-wise how much you are saving, what will be the process development time if you reduce it by 10 to 30%, so people will start learning and want to adapt it. So that's my input from the bioprocessing side.
50% tech, 50% people. You give me tech and you don't teach me how to use it or get me excited about it, I'm not going to use it. At the end of the day, it's me sitting on the laptop. It's not
Yeah, I
going to be
think
like
what you guys have said is very important. It's change management, right? That is a step so many people miss when they're putting a new system in place and they're replacing procedures or processes from other ones. There's a step before implementation, which is getting everybody on board, teaching them when we're going live, how we're going live, how it's going to change their day to day. And the Boeing example is great. They don't add 15 minutes of work to you without removing 15 minutes of work to you. So this isn't about replacing humans. This is about reordering what humans do so that they are doing the things that humans do better, and they're not tasked with the redundant processes that bore us all to sleep when we do them anyway.
Yeah. And one thing that I've been saying, and I've worked with a large oil and gas in Canada organization, Suncor, and when I went there, IBM flew me there last minute and said, oh, Pankaj, you are good at it. You go talk to them. And my thing was, yeah, I'm going to cut FTEs because that's what I was taught for the last 2 years. And it blew in my face because these were business people who were sitting there, whose colleagues were there for 25, 30 years. And I just come in and say, I'm going to fire all of you guys because I got RPA here. Then I learned my lesson, and now when I go in there and say that I'm going to get you a tool which is going to make your life much easier. But remember, Suncor is the largest in Canada. It can be largest in US or globe as well. So these people who are really, really exceptional with you, give them these tools to take that mundane, easy task away from them and use them to do something else. Let's expand elsewhere. And that's when I talk to people, they get excited, and that is the 50% of the people. I can't just put tech in front of you. Can't give me an iPhone and say, yeah, iPhone has all of it. You should use it. I need to want to use it. What do I get out of it? And AI is just not about that. It's about what do I get out of it? My life gets easy. Do I make more money if I use it? Yeah, organization makes more money, Pankaj, you'll get a better bonus. Okay, good. I'll start tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that's a very straightforward way to put it.
Just make it easier. That's how I learned. So when I look at myself and I say, is this something that's going to work for you? And I would say majority of the time it did work for me and people that I work with and I deliver solutions for.
All right. Thank you for answering. Yeah, we didn't have time for our other questions, but that one gave us a good conversation, and it was an important topic to cover. So as an outro, I want to ask all three of you one last question for today's session. which is what does the future with AI-driven pharma manufacturing look like? So I want to give a minute to each of you to give your view on the future with AI in pharma.
You want to pick who's first, Nik?
Rachel, do you want to start?
Okay, I can do that. Lady first, huh? Okay. Okay, the future, in my opinion, of AI-driven pharmaceutical manufacturing is a shift from automated plants. I know automation is great and people working, but we have to shift from automated plants to fully connected, predictive, and self-optimizing production ecosystem. That's what I see the future is coming. So AI will sit underneath every layer of the operation, continuously analyzing data, adjusting the process, and preventing issue before they occur. This is the smart thing to move forward with. We'll see self-optimized factories where PAT, sensor, smart filtration system, bioreactor feed real-time data into AI modeling that automatically adjust feed rates, pressure, temperature, and other critical process parameter. So deviation will be corrected before they materialize. So this is very critical, like anything that makes sense in life, dramatically reduce downtime and batch failure. So I would say in conclusion, the AI driven factory of the future is predictive, adaptive, integrated, and continuously learning with higher efficiency, fewer failure, smoothing scale up, which is critical in manufacturing, and faster, more reliable delivery of therapies to patients who are waiting for that. And we all can be in this spot. So this is very critical to help us with the AI to move better. As David and Pankaj mentioned, we are just using our smartness, not the operational small thing that the system can help us to do every day. So we don't have to fear from that. We have to embrace it, in my opinion. So that will be the future, maybe the next generation.
Yeah, thanks, Rachel. Pankaj, you can go next.
Yeah, for me, the next iteration of this is AI clones. There is a big conference that is happening in India right now. So Sundar Pichai, among many others, are speaking over there. And I attended the pre-conference of it in Canada, where the AI federal minister was there among the High Commissioner of India and all that. The one thing that really I took away from it is the amount of data that a big country like India has, 1.3 billion. No, do you really need to go to India for each of the trials and look for 500,000 people? If you have the data, you have the AI, you can make AI clones out of that, and you can still do the research without even stepping away from my laptop, talking to anyone, and do the research. And that can be very, very fast. So you don't have to give me a medication and see how I react, but your data model tells you how Pankaj is going to react to it because of his age, because of his anything, like whatever comes out of that pharma. So that AI clone, I see them coming very fast. I won't be surprised that in that next 5 months, a new medication come and say, yeah, we only did it on AI clones. Maybe at the end, 5 or 10 people, but that is what I'm looking forward to, and I definitely get very excited about it.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting.
Not
David?
iRobot, but AI clones taking medications on my behalf.
This sounds like science fiction.
They always say that
absolutely.
science fiction has a way to science. Anything that we saw Star Trek and all that when we were kids, we use those microwaves to warm up our food. So why not this? It's just moving at a very fast pace. That's it. That's a difference.
I hope so.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Okay, David. The stage to you for this last.
Sure. Just quickly, I think that all of us, everybody on this stream, everybody off the stream, have a role to play, because the developers, the engineers can be very, very good, but the real world experience and the real world solutions are key to the next iteration of where this goes. I also think that AI to AI is very unpredictable, just like Gibberlink came out from two AI agents deciding the human language that they had been given to use wasn't as efficient as one that they could build their own, so they built their own. I think as we let AI to AI to AI discuss how they might see being beneficial and what they're doing, that makes the possibilities in the future very unpredictable. But I don't want our future in AI to be only contributed to by humans. They definitely need to be controlled by humans, but these AI agents are already coming up with strategies that we probably are unlikely to come up with. So I think that makes the landscape unpredictable, but equally scary. All the movies do a good job of scaring us about what happens when AI gets bigger. But the truth on the other side is, man, that Gibberlink was amazing, where they're able to just create this language between the two agents that are doing things much faster and much better. And we never thought, hey, let's let them write their own language.
Yeah, good point. Good point. And we're as long as we are the ones with the button to correct the things.
Or at least as we're the ones who we think have the button.
Yeah, exactly. That's the scary part.
It is scary, but you know, I don't know any change that isn't. Sometimes you have to hope for the best.
All right, so we got a little bit over time, but thank you all so much for participating in today's panel discussion. This is a huge topic. 1 hour is definitely not enough to cover all the intricacies and all the points, but we managed to give a good overview on how exactly AI is reshaping already the pharma and what exactly we can achieve with it. So what I can tell everyone right now is thank you all for watching. Again, thanks all for presenting today. I want to invite everyone to connect each other on LinkedIn, continue the conversations, and ask maybe further questions to our speakers. Of course, most importantly, I invite everybody interested to stay connected with Pronix, as Pronix as well is helping pharmaceutical and life science organization to adopt AI and scale, modernizing operations and build next generation of data-driven factories. And get ready for the AI clones, for the research, for everything that we've been discussing today. But for now, we're gonna be wrapping up this session. Yeah.
Thank you, Nik. Thank you, Rachel and
Pronix.
Pankaj.
Thank you, everybody, and everybody that joined. Bye.
Yeah.
Take care.